Okay guys, it's Rick from Tackle Village again, just here with a really simple wet fly, very quick to tie wet fly called the Glister Nymph. It's a pattern that was pioneered by a New Zealand fishing guide, Chris Dorr. Very simple to tie and very effective. So what I've got here is a wet fly hook in a size 16. In this case I've used a Hanak hook. It's a H230BL Stillwater and wet fly hook. So we've got that on our in the vise with a tungsten bead attached. Now first step is to lay down a thread base on this hook, which I'm doing now, and that is done. Next stage in the process is to get some tailing fibres. I'm using microfibers here. Equally, you could just use some fibres from a paintbrush if you wanted to save some money. Works just as well. All right, so we tie in our microfibers to create a tail. Probably just a little bit long there, because only a size 16 hook, so I'm just pulling it back. Oh, that's too far. All right, that looks about perfect. So a few wraps around there, then we'll trim off the ends of the microfibers. Beautiful, and I'll just wrap forward over that, taking the thread to about the center. Next step in is to tie in the wire that we used to rib the fly. I've just used a very fine copper wire. It's only a size 16, and it's got the tungsten bead, so we don't need to worry about weight. So what we'll do is we'll tie back towards the tail to tie this copper wire in for the ribbing. I'll go right back towards the tail. Now, next step is to take our Glister, which if you've never used it before is this stuff, Vineyard Glister. It's a very sort of flashy synthetic form of dubbing, which looks different in different lights. I'll show you some of it now. Here is our Glister. As I crinkle it, you can see the fibres flash and give off different shades. It's in a brown. So what I'll do with this is, as with all dubbing, is just to make a thinnest possible rope and use the minimum amount of material. It's quite a tricky material to dub with. You can use dubbing wax if you're having lots of problems with it. Otherwise, just keep the rope thin. And just be careful how you're wrapping. Let's just see how this goes. And we're just building up a body, wanting to keep it relatively thin, although keep in mind that obviously the wire ribbing as it comes through will crimp the body and make it a bit more thinner than it would otherwise be. Okay, so I'm just wrapping this on, making sure that it just doesn't get sort of too fluffy. I want it sort of concentrated on the hook. Just need a tiny bit more to finish it, because I've got to build that body up as it gets towards the bead on the hook. Okay, the last little bit to finish this off. Hopefully I haven't got too much. Anyway, we'll give it a go. Around we go. I think we're just about perfect there. Okay, then we'll leave the thread hanging down and use the rotary vise to wrap our wire up the shank of the hook to make our segmented body. We'll wrap that right up to behind the bead. There we go. Now we're done. Just going to use the very inner bit of the scissors to trim that wire off so I don't blunt the whole blade. Now I'll just wrap this last bit of dubbing fibre through, and now it's a matter of whip finishing 3 times. Cut the thread, take a bit of a look at it. How's it look? Quite buggy. Yeah, 1 or 2 fibres too long. That's all right. And there you have it, Glister Nymph. Nice sort of thin profile nymph with that tungsten bead that will get down really quickly. It's just flashy enough to stand out, but not flashy enough as to put fish off. And if you're finding it's putting fish off with that bright glinting copper bead, you've always got the option to take out a permanent marker and just colour the bead black. So then you've got a black or grey beadhead variant. So there you have it. Rick from Tackle Village, just finishing off tying Chris Dawes Glister Nymph as my go-to river fishing wet fly nymph pattern. Thank you.